Stop scrolling. Not tomorrow. Not after another video. Right now, because the next question might stay in your mind long after this video ends. What if the thing you're worrying about most right now never actually happens? Strange question, isn't it? Because your mind probably spends hours preparing for disasters that never arrive. Think about last year. How many things terrified you? How many sleepless nights did you spend worrying? How many of those fears became reality? Probably fewer than you expected. Maybe none at all. Yet fear always speaks like it knows the future. It doesn't. Fear is a storyteller, and unfortunately, it loves sad endings. But here's the part most people never realize. The story in your head is not the same as the story that's actually happening. Because while your mind is predicting failure, life might be preparing opportunity. While you're expecting an ending, life might be writing a beginning. And that's where everything changes, because almost every successful person has a moment like this. A moment where quitting makes perfect sense. A moment where stopping feels reasonable. A moment where nobody would blame them for walking away. The athlete before the breakthrough. The entrepreneur before the opportunity. The student before the result. The artist before the recognition. Every story has that chapter. The chapter where it looks like nothing is working. But here's the secret. The chapter before the breakthrough often looks exactly like the chapter before giving up. Read that again, because that sentence changes lives. The problem is, sentence changes lives. The problem is, nobody knows which chapter they're in while they're living it. And that's why people quit too early. They mistake waiting for failure. They mistake silence for defeat. They mistake delay for the end. Don't make that mistake. Nobody knows which chapter they're in while they're living it. And that's why people quit too early. They mistake waiting for failure. They mistake silence for defeat. They mistake delay for the end. Don't make that mistake. Because life changes quietly. Then suddenly, one message, one opportunity, one conversation, one ordinary day that becomes unforgettable. And years later, people call it luck. They don't see the years of patience, the invisible work, the moments you kept going when nobody was watching. Here's a question. What if your future self could visit you tonight? What would they say? Would they tell you to quit, they say? Would they tell you to quit? Would they tell you the struggle wasn't worth it? Would they tell you to stop trying? Probably not. They would probably smile. And they tell you something simple. Would they tell you the struggle wasn't worth it? Would they tell you to stop trying? Probably not. They would probably smile and tell you something simple. Please don't stop here, because your future self knows something you don't. They know how the story continues. They know what happens if you keep going. They know what becomes possible if you stay. And maybe the person you become 5 years from now is depending on the decision you make tonight. The decision to continue. The decision to try again. The decision to believe that tomorrow deserves a chance. Because tomorrow has surprised people before. Many times. The phone call came. The opportunity arrived. The door opened. The answer appeared. Not because life became easy. Because they stayed long enough to see the next chapter. So if you're tired, rest. If you're discouraged, pause. If you're afraid, take a breath. But don't confuse resting with quitting. They are not the same thing. The world has enough people who stop too soon. Don't become one of them, because one day, you will look back at this chapter, not with pain, not with regret, but with gratitude. Because the chapter that almost made you quit became the chapter that taught you your strength. So keep going, one step, one sunrise, one decision at a time, because the story isn't over. And the best part, you haven't reached the plot twist yet. Stay long enough to see it. There's something strange about fear. It wants to act like a fortune teller. It whispers, what if you fail? What if people laugh? What if you're not enough? But have you noticed something? Fear never asks. What if it works? What if the opportunity changes your life? What if the risk becomes the reason you succeed? What if the door you're afraid to knock on is the one that was meant for you? Because here's the truth. Most people don't lose because they fail. They lose because they never begin. The book never gets written. The business never gets started. The dream never gets a chance. Not because it was impossible, because fear convinced them not to try. Imagine meeting the person you could have become. The healthier version, the stronger version, the more confident version. Now imagine having to explain why you never gave them a chance to exist. That's a difficult conversation, because deep down, you already know something important. You are capable of more than you've proven to yourself so far. Not you've proven to yourself so far. Not because you're special, not because life will be easy, because humans are far stronger than they believe. A person can survive heartbreak, failure, rejection, loss, and still find reasons to smile again. That is extraordinary, because you're special, not because life will be easy, because humans are far stronger than they believe. A person can survive heartbreak, failure, rejection, loss, and still find reasons to smile again. That is extraordinary. You are extraordinary. And here's the twist nobody sees coming. The life you're hoping for might be hoping for you too. The opportunity, the friendship, the breakthrough, the moment that changes everything. But it cannot find someone who has already quit, which is why your job right now isn't to have all the answers. It isn't to predict the future. It isn't to remove every obstacle. Your job is much simpler. Stay in the game. Keep showing up. Keep learning. Keep moving. Because life rewards people who remain long enough to meet their opportunity. And trust me, opportunity has a strange sense of timing. It often arrives right after people decide they're ready to quit. Stay with me, because in the next chapter, we're going to talk about the moment your entire perspective changes. The moment you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking the question that changes lives forever. That question is closer than you think.